All right, what do you want to watch? Easy A?
I already saw it.
Spotlight.
I already watched that too.
Powder.
I already saw that.
You've watched everything.
Nobody watches everything.
Rocky, he said take them to the zoo. He didn't say propose to them at the zoo.
Oh my god.
Hello!
What is up, everybody? It's Nobody Watches Everything.
Here we are.
I'm Clayton.
I'm Rick.
Yeah,
That's
you
me.
are.
Yeah, I am.
You're Ricky, boy.
You can do it, Rick.
And we're talking about Rocky 2.
Rocky 2.
This is the second movie in the franchise, hence why it's called Rocky 2. And I'm just going to say it right now. Hot take. Better than Rocky 1.
Ooh, look out, kids. Clayton's
Hottest take.
firing shots.
I'm firing shots. I'm saying it's better than Rocky 1. And I will also say there is something wholly wrong with, I don't know, Sylvester Stallone or everyone in this
Everyone
related to the Balboa family through marriage or what have you.
It's a curse.
There is something truly weird about, because like you hear Carl Weathers act and doing a great job.
Great job again, once again.
And then you listen to like Stallone and Adrian and Paulie and his friends and anyone who's like in that realm who like they're dumb. They're
idiots.
They're.
I was wondering if maybe you wouldn't mind marrying me too much. And then she's like, "What?" And she makes him say that shit a second time.
If you make me marry you come marry me.
Yeah, it's fucking Rocky. Swallow the cookies already before you fucking
this mumble mouth lunatic. I have a lot to say about this movie. I really like it, but when it gets into the weirdness, it's a weird fucking movie. So we're gonna let Michael do his intro because we had to tack it on last time because we were just so excited and
we forgot the whole structure.
It's been a long time.
It's been a long time.
So we're gonna let Michael do his intro. Oh, there's another thing we have to do.
Oh, you guys, we did it. We're making it big.
We're huge.
We're making it big. This is a big deal, you guys.
We're big stars. Rock cars. I don't know. That was weird.
We're rock stars. Say you want to be a big rock star.
Oh, Lord.
Yeah. I've been holding on to that one for a while.
That was nice. But I think we got a sponsor. We've got a sponsor,
ladies and gentlemen. We have got a sponsor. So you want to do this right now?
Yeah, we'll do it right now.
We're new to this, you guys. We're new to this. This is our first sponsor.
We want you to hear it before we get into the weeds. And plus, I feel like we're going to say something weird. And you don't want the sponsorship to come up right next to us being like, and then Adrian said something dumb. And then you're like, oh, okay, I'm sorry. But
yeah, you're right. We'll say the R word and then immediately like sponsor. We're like, man, Adrian is such a hood. Be like, ladies and gentlemen, if you ever need to listen to music, like.
But our sponsor is Revolver Records.
Revolver Records, you guys. Do you guys like rock and roll music or jazz music or funk or some kind of weird explosion type nonsense that we don't even know about because I'm old and not cool? Well, if that's the case, like Norwegian ska punk. Like, do you guys have? I think that's just Millencolin, actually, you guys. That's an actual band, and they've got them on vinyl, you guys. Revolver Records. They've got 4 locations now. Like 4. This is honest to God, this is a rad ass record shop. I love it.
Super.
I love this place. Like I go there. I feel like I'm going to a record shop in the 90s when I go to a record shop. Like when I go to this one specifically, like it's just got that feel. They got cool old pops. They got cool new pops. They've got 4 locations now, you guys. They've got the original one on Hurdle. Then they got one in Elmwood Village. They got one in East Aurora, and they have one on Transit Road in like Williamsville. I'm not going to give you the addresses. If you live in one of those areas and want to know, use fucking Google, okay? Like it's not
Google it.
like,
Revolver
just
Records.
look. You know Revolver
Easy.
Records. You've seen them around town. They buy old record collections. If you're trying to get rid of your record collections, they've got used that they will sell you. They'll buy the whole collection. Like he'll buy like these dudes. They know their shit.
They know
You guys like.
shit.
If you go in there and you're like, guys, what's that one song that's in this like one thing? Like somebody who's working there is gonna know, or somebody who's shopping there is gonna know, because cool people are also in there shopping because they're record people. They're those people.
They're the record store that I feel like Empire Records feels like it is, but it's not.
Yeah.
It's actually cool, and I don't hate the people working there. Like I hate Empire Records.
Well, that's because you guys, if you hate Empire Records, it's way better than Empire Records. If you love Empire Records, you guys, it's just as good as Empire Records. Like because some of us know a good movie when it slaps us in the teeth, and that's me. But you guys, Revolver Records, the owner's great, and he's fair, and he's cool, and I think he's got a pretty beefy dong too, you guys. So Revolver Records, 4 locations, check them out. This is our first ad, and I don't think we fucked it up too bad.
No, we didn't. It's natural. We're human beings, and it's cool. So check out
It's
Revolver
cool.
Records.
Go to revolverrecord.com too if you have any questions. If you need to get a hold of them, it's just Revolver Records Incorporate. RevolverRecordsInc.com. Stop in, check them out online. You can shop online. You can do everything online. You can get all the locations for the store you want to go to. It's awesome.
It's the best. And now we can let Michael do his thing.
Talk us in, baby.
That sweet intro, and we'll be right back.
Although working-class Philadelphia boxer Rocky Balboa lost his high-profile bout with the cocky world champion Apollo Creed, his Cinderella story has caught the national media's attention, and now he has the opportunity to capitalize on his sudden fame. Meanwhile, Creed is still smarting from nearly losing to some palooka no one has ever heard of, and arrogantly prods his newfound nemesis to get back into the ring. Don't be a Kentucky Fried Idiot. Watch Sylvester Stallone in Rocky 2.
All right.
That Michael.
Rocky 2.
Woo! Bum, 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 bum,
He's
bum,
got
bum.
the eye
Part
of the
2.
tiger.
That's next. Slow down. Slow your roll, mister. This is Rocky 2. Go for it.
All right. So I really like this movie. I think it's
I love it.
I genuinely do think it's better. I think part of it is like, I think Rocky was his first movie he wrote, and you can see a big change in Stallone's ability as a writer, because it is a structurally much better and more sound script, I think.
Yes, because after the first Rocky, he got to see more scripts because now he's a working actor and they wanted him to be in movies. So his agent was probably handing him more scripts and he was reading more scripts and he was like, oh, that's not a bad idea to do in the thing for the movie I wrote. I think that's how he talks in real life. I can't separate the art from the artist in this one.
I mean, he has like drop lip, so that's why he talks the way he does. But it's so funny how the Rocky films truly like sync up with Sylvester Stallone's career. Like you can see him advancing as like a person, but also you can see his like whatever. Like why can't I say this word? I'm stupid. I've been making fun of him being
intricacies.
No, it's like eccentricities, and like he's
eccentricities.
Yeah, he's like a weirdo. Like you can tell he's a weirdo, and when you see the later movies, you're going to really see like, it's weird. But you're like watching him go like, hey, this was a ragtag movie that he put together, and now hey, I've got a little bit more money. I'm now becoming a star. I'm now like getting a little more say. So I started directing the movies, and then you watch him get into the excess of like the next
Ooh.
Rockies. They get
So
more and
Apollo
more.
Creed is success.
Apollo Creed is success. Yeah, he's like, this was like, I'm now winning. Like
Ooh, this is
he's
good.
like,
Yeah.
he's like, I can't, like, I'm a loser, so I have to lose. And then he's like, no, I'm winning now. I'm a big star.
Yeah, I'm
I
going to
made this
overcome
movie.
this.
It got nominated for all these Oscars. It was a big hit. So now I am a big winner and I can overcome, because I know we bring up all the other Rocky movies a lot while we talk about this, but it's so funny how this still has the natural, like, he's still in this underdog mode of like how he wins in this movie is just by the skin of his teeth.
Yeah, like the first one he lost, but only by a split decision.
By a split
This one he wins just by a second.
because he stood up just, he was like, he just made it. And they, but
Yeah.
they both, it was in like, and then you watch the later ones and they're like all just, he's like fucking knocking people out and he's standing tall. And it's like, you're watching a guy progress and then also kind of get into his own head. And I'll get into more of that.
He's still
when we
always
watch
an
the other
underdog.
one. Like he's in this movie. I don't think he's an underdog coming, like he'll be an underdog later. But
always, every movie is the underdog. That's the thing.
It's so
you can't beat Clubber Lang. You can't beat Ivan Drago. You can't beat Tommy the Duke Morrison. Who do you think you are? HIV? You can't beat Tommy Gunn.
It's so one of the things that I think is fascinating about this movie is how it's a big showcase of like a guy who has no skills. And it's kind of depressing. Like you're like this is the real Rocky Can't Read movie, and it's like it's kind of harrowing.
Oh man, no, it's sad. It's a bummer. If this didn't happen for Rocky, he's not around anymore.
Yeah. Like this is if fucking Apollo Creed wasn't so mad that he almost got beat. It was so close. Rocky would have killed himself. Like you would have. It would have been
or he'd just be
those,
like working. He'd just be like, what was he doing? He was just back at the meatpacking plant. Like
he
that's
got
just
fired from the meat because he had.
Oh
no
yeah, and he got
seniority.
fired. Was that the security guard from Silence of the Lambs who fired him?
He might be. I think he's also the police captain in Last Action Hero.
Oh shit, he is.
Yeah, they all come back, baby.
They all come back, baby. I don't think did we do Silence of the Lambs or no?
We did not do Silence of the Lambs.
We should. That's a franchise.
That is a franchise that goes all over the place.
We could do Manhunter, and then Silence of the Lambs, then Hannibal, then Red Dragon,
then
Hannibal 3.
I think
Revenge.
it's Hannibal Rising.
Hannibal Rising. That's like the prequel.
Yeah.
Yeah, we could. I'd fucking do that. That'd be fine.
That'd be weird.
Future.
That'd be
Put a pin in it, baby.
But yeah, he's like, he gets fired from that job. He can't read. He's like, I just thought I might have a sit down job like you. And
that whole scene where he's like an actor and they want him to do commercials. That shit was fucking hard to watch. Like, cause that's how it starts. The movie starts with, I like when a sequel takes place immediately following the first movie.
Right. It's like
no 6 months later, it's just like, bam, that night he gets out of the hospital finally. And people are like freaking out about him. This guy's trying to sign him to a deal, but first he's got to go take Adrian to the zoo and propose. It's the first thing he's got to do.
Which is what, like, so one thing that I will say about this movie, and I'll say this about the Rocky 1 as well. Time is so odd. Like, I don't know how much time passes because, like, it wasn't snowing when Rocky went to the hospital. It's snowing now.
Yeah. Well, it's still Philly. So he went into the hospital on. Oh wait,
because when's the bicentennial? Like,
he was only with her for a month before the fight because he got together with her on Thanksgiving. That was like the first date. Because she was making Thanksgiving dinner when Paulie forced her to go out. On on a date. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
Like she was like, "But I'm making a turkey." He's like, "I'll do that." Like whatever weird Paulie. Like, I don't know what's that. He's basically Bobby Moynihan's drunk uncle is based on
Yes.
Uncle Paulie.
Looks
Like,
just like him too. It's
Yeah.
like
but so then the fight is New Year's Eve. The first fight in Rocky 1 is New Year's Eve because it's the bicentennial, but that's what it's celebrating. Like
Really?
it's going in, it's 75 to 76. Yeah, the fight is New Year's Eve.
okay. I didn't realize that. Like it's
Yeah, that's why it was such a big deal
Mhm.
for that fight to be then, because he wanted it to be this big bicentennial thing in Philadelphia. Yeah, so that's what that was. So he was only together with her from Thanksgiving to New Year's Day. And then like 2 days later, he proposed.
Yeah.
That's
'Cause
how
it's
you
like-
know.
That's how you know. And but it's so funny because like he's so awkward and like it's kind of cute
Yeah.
in a way of like he really likes her and he really loves her because he just does not know how to talk to her. But it does come off like, especially when you watch the rest of the movie, you're like, oh, Rocky is like not well. Like yeah, Rocky is like,
Like when he's crying in the hospital or whatever, like when he's like, when she, so whatever, fight ends. He goes out, the fight from the first movie ends. They replay the entire first movie in the beginning of the second movie, essentially.
yeah, right. Like the fight.
They're
is
like, hey, in case you're as stupid as Rocky, here's the longest recap you've ever seen in your life.
Here's the fight from the whole
Yeah.
fight from the last movie, not truncated at all. It's just like here it is.
Here. Here's the last 20 minutes is your first 20 minutes and go. And if you watch these back to back, like I basically did like 2 days apart, like I'm just like, yeah, I fucking know. But then they didn't even have, you couldn't even rent this shit back in
No.
1977. So really
Right.
they hoped you watched it in the theaters. That's why they recapped it so much. They're like,
They were
people
like-
don't remember this shit. They're depressed.
That happened last week. Like it was like it was last
Yeah.
year. You can't remember this type of shit. It's so funny to watch that. And then like they're being wheeled out in wheelchairs, and I like that they made a point of like they have you have to hear him say there's not going to be a rematch after this, because then he's like, I want a rematch. I'll fight him
Yeah.
anywhere. I swear to God, I'll kill him anywhere.
I did love the scene in the hospital where Rocky
it-
went to visit Apollo. That was a fucking great scene.
there are some standout scenes of like
Yeah.
which is like, this movie showcases that Stallone can act and he can direct in many ways, because like
Yeah.
you forget he's making the movie. He's so intrinsically connected to Rocky that we all just think of Stallone as Rocky, down to every like flaw he has of like
But he was the heart and soul of Rocky. Like he was writing it, he was directing it, he created this world,
It's
and he cares
exactly.
about it.
And when you watch that, and it's that scene, and they're like both beat up, and he's like just visiting him in the hospital, and he's like, "Did you give me your all?" Like, and he's like, "Yeah," and it's
Yeah.
like, "Yeah," it's like, like
Yeah, no, it's good because Rocky wanted to know. You know, he needed to know that he did it
yeah, he really
because he's
fought.
filled with self doubt because he ain't got shit. Like he needed that.
Exactly. and it's like, it's wild. One of the things that frustrates me about this is like, granted, $36,000 is way more. I mean, $36,000 is pretty good no matter what if you just randomly got it. But at that time period, that's even better than it is now. Because like,
Yeah, and he spent it quick.
I've never been more mad about something in my life. Just watching him spend, I was like, Rocky, you don't have any money. Rocky,
That was
you
like
don't have-
20-year-old me with a tax return.
yeah,
like,
yeah.
I just got $750 from the government. Like, are you kidding me? This is free money. And then the next thing I know, I've got 6 cartons of cigarettes and a fucking whole pack of Sobe Power. Like,
and it's all
Just to
I'll
date
ever
myself.
need. Yeah. it's bonkers because he's like, hey, I was just gonna get a car. I'm like, Rocky, what are you? And I love that he can't drive. He does not know how to drive.
oh my God, that scene was fucking. My son thought that scene was hilarious too.
It's so funny because they keep it going of him goes like, just driving weird. I love
Wants that leather jacket with the tiger.
that was one of the things that blew my mind. He's like, because you really know how dumb and like just like he is so poor energy.
Oh, that jacket really shows class.
Yeah, he's like, this is a tiger. Like, remember the tiger when he like my tiger from the zoo?
If this movie happened in 1990, he would have had a Charlotte Hornets starter jacket. That's what he would have seen in the store window.
I would love that. Would be the funniest thing.
Look at that. That's really classy. Look at the colors. It's like turquoise and it's got that bee on there because it'll sting you. That's class. This is real classy.
And you see the cutout of Grandmama. Just Rocky in full Charlotte's Hornets gear.
That's what everybody had.
Funny. It's exactly. There was no like off topic, but like the 90s, there was no like true like team like like you're like, I don't give a fuck about the team. Look at these colors.
Look at this. It was Chicago Bulls, Atlanta Falcons, or Charlotte Hornets. Like,
yeah, we're wearing
that was it.
like everyone else can kick rocks right now. I don't care what team I'm rooting for. I'm wearing these.
It was South Buffalo special.
Yeah. But yeah, he buys this jacket with a tiger. He's like, it's the classiest thing. Then he buys like 6 watches, and it's like, did you buy her a ring? And he's like, but you need to watch. If you're gonna have all the time in the world, you need a watch.
You gotta know. You gotta know what time it is. I can't tell time so good, but maybe like he spends that movie. He spends that money quick. And then they give him like these acting jobs where he's going to be in commercials, and he gets fired from that or quits, whichever one it is.
$300,000 from him, which would have been even crazier. And like he can't read, and it's this thing where I'm like, in my mind, I'm like, okay, Rocky can't read, but it's harder to watch. Of just he's like, see the words, it looks the same, you know.
Yeah, he's saying, I am not gonna make it in the world we live in. Like,
it's so, and like he's reading a book in bed with.
Yeah, and then they went to the star. She's like, even she, and she's R-word as hell, and even she's like looking at him like, oh my fuck, like what did I do?
Like, dude, I'm married. Like they buy a house. They buy like literally Rocky goes through this $30,000.
He spends money like crazy, but he stretched the fuck out of that though. Like he changed his life with $35,000.
It's the time period though. Like that, if that should
things are pretty cheap then. Houses cost like $5,000 back then, I think.
Like that, and the house that he bought was 16.
Yeah, it was just like
it was like premier. Really, it's like you see the brick. There's brick, and it's like
it was put together by a guy with hands.
Yeah, like they took care of him. So it's like he bought a house. He like their mortgage. I don't like their taxes are like 12. I was like, man, goddamn, that sounds amazing. Like I would love to have bought a house in that time period. And like I can read, like I can,
think of how you would have lived in Philly in 1977. You would have been on easy street, baby.
Listen, I can deal with the racism if I own my house outright. Like,
yeah, I would have become racist just to buy that house. I would have been like, yeah, how many live here?
Yeah, good. But he goes through all this money, and then he's like, it's one of the most harrowing things to hear, because he's just like, I'm gonna read books and I get my reading up, and then I can it'll make my other jobs coast, you know.
I'll be able to, like, I don't know why he just didn't immediately go back to working for the mob, like,
because it was like part of it's like, I'm a good guy now, and I understand that, but it is also like.
Side note.
Are you good? Tom?
How is it? Fucking Stallone works for this mob dude, and he's just going around collecting money. He gets Paulie his old job. Paulie's running the docks.
I was just about to say that. I don't know. Like, that's how you should understand.
Sober
how
Paulie could have taken over Philadelphia.
Sober Paulie was like like if you were going to be voting for Paulie, like
Yeah, it made him. He was a made man in 6 months of just being like a punchy boxer's brother-in-law.
He's just like
He's
hey.
wearing 3-piece suits. He's like, "Hey, Rock, welcome to the docks." Yeah,
Yeah, he's like eating an ice cookie. He's eating a snow cone.
yeah. He found a snow cone somehow.
He's like, when you make money, you can, and it's so wild because like he has all of that because of Rocky. It's like, hey, I get paid if you wear this vest. That's it. And like he made that $3,000 turn into an empire,
He
and
just
like
bought a suit with it and just dressed for success.
and Paulie's just doing well for the rest of the movie. Like there's no, he has
Yeah.
no relapse of not being. Like he's not alcoholic Paulie ever
Rock,
again.
Rock, you need a handout?
Yeah, like, which is, by the way, another one of these bonker things is like, which speaks volumes to how shitty of a person Paulie is, where Paulie is like, hey, Rock, please help me. I need something. Please, I'll suck your dick. I just
got this itch. I gotta quiet it down, Rock.
I have never been a man before, right? And then as soon as he makes some money off of Rocky, he's like, hey, you big bitch. Like, what do you need
And
money?
also, how is he that good with money that he goes from having nothing to having enough to hand out?
Yeah, hand out, buying Rocky's car, just living like he's on easy street. Paulie, and part of it's like it feels like Paulie just couldn't be in enough scenes, like he's not in the movie nearly as much. So they were like, "Well, it's because Paulie's successful. He's got that big.
He's busy.
Job now.
Got to
Like,
work. He's a capo now."
But it's like it is so funny that you couldn't get Rock. Also, I know he could have gotten back to the mob and beat him, but also the fact that the mob doesn't think to use him in any other way. It's like this guy is a national star from almost taking out the world champ, and you still are like, but he'll be like our famous bookie. He'll be our famous collector. It's like, you know how much you would be in so much trouble if all of a sudden you just have like a TV star, like.
Well, Dino Bravo.
I mean, that's true, but
like he was a famous enough wrestler, and then he just ended up living in Montreal collecting for the mob. Like
this is true, but like I feel like
he ended up dead.
Yeah, I mean,
that's how he died, but but he was still like famous enough. And then could you imagine just fucking like in this day and age, could you imagine if just fucking Matt Hardy showed up at your house to collect $1,000 that you fucking, like
like what the fuck?
Whoa, aren't you? Hey, he brings a ladder.
Yeah. He sets you up on a table. This is what you get when you don't make us more money. Like, it's just wild how bad. Like, I mean, again, it makes sense on account of Rocky just spent. Like, Rocky is like the quintessential rags to riches type of story, but he is like Rocky is like when you hear about how bad basketball players or how bad NFL players used to be for them, and even some now, but it's like that little bit of money that you get and they spend it and you don't realize that you have nothing. Like
you spend it in a day.
It's like Shaq got $1 million. Like he got signed $1 million and he spent it in that afternoon buying a house and cars and shit. And it's like, you didn't even pay taxes yet. like, you don't understand.
But at least Shaq had another basketball game coming up.
Yeah.
Like Rocky planned on retiring after this. Like he had no plan. He's like, I'm going to fight this fight. I'm going to get 35 grand and then we're set for life. And then that's $35,000 is basically $1 billion.
Yeah, it's enough to take care of my kids and my grandchildren's kids.
Like,
no, Rocky,
I'm going to put a baby in there right away.
Your wife used to work at a fucking like pet store.
A pet shop. Like a week ago.
A week?
This isn't like she just stopped working there. She stole that dog in the middle of the night, gave it to you, and she was no longer allowed to work there.
And But it's so funny because you're watching this, and so he's like struggling, and he's like, "I got to start fighting again," and it's so like disheartening watching it because it's like this feels like it wasn't supposed to have sequels in
Yeah,
many
oh
ways
yeah.
because it's like so we're in the second movie. Only one fight has happened, but already his eye is nearly gone. like they're like,
Yeah.
like
They're like,
you
Rocky,
can't
you're
see.
blind.
Like Rocky, you're going to like if you get hit in the eye, and I this is
Now Mickey loves him. Like in the first movie, he didn't want to train him, but now he's like, he immediately is his father figure, and he's like, Rock, where's my hand? He's like, no, you don't see it.
yeah, he's like, because what if he like I'm just like he slaps him, and he's like, you didn't see that coming. Now what if that big motherfucker punches you in the face?
Yeah. I'm
And-
surprised. There's way less N-words than there should have been in this movie. Not that people should say them more. It's just no way the real life Mickey Goldman wasn't saying it. Like
No.
at least like a little slur, like some weird word for it.
There's like you can tell how tame some of this movie is because of like the first movie. You could feel it. You could feel that the animosity and the racism in Philly.
Yeah.
Because you're watching how the way people talk about Apollo Creed.
Rock, you can beat this.
You can beat
Let's say
this
bum.
guy.
Let's use
Yeah.
the word bum for this movie.
He's a bum. His family's a bum. Go back to Bumfrica. Like it's like whoa.
Oh my god! Whoa, take it easy.
All right, guys.
Bumfrica.
Like it's like it's palpable,
Yeah.
and then there's a part where like but when you see like Apollo Creed's like reading all these hate mail, and he's like this, you a bitch, you can't do it,
Yeah.
you know, like this, you're a disgrace to your race, and it's like whoa,
Love Paulie.
Yeah. And
There's
it's
no
like,
way Paulie doesn't, like Paulie being like this Italian dude himself. There's no way Paulie doesn't sneak out one moolie.
yeah.
Like there's no way. No offense to anyone. I figured I could almost say that. I married an Italian girl, so it's okay. But there's no fucking way.
Oh, Paulie is saying it left. Like they're like
Don't hit him in the head, Rock. You know what they say. Their heads are harder.
There is something so like deep down in it where you can feel like when Rocky won. There's that old fucking Eddie Murphy joke. That
I was just thinking about that where he's at the movie theater or whatever.
He's like, that's how you gotta do with him. Like you gotta really. And it's like you watch this movie and watching the fight at the end. I can feel like when he wins, there's going to be like a race riot.
Yeah.
like there's something so
A collective sigh of relief across the nation. Ah, that's better.
Finally, we're back.
Ah.
They've had it for good for too long. A whole movie, like it's one. So one of the things that I think is fascinating watching this movie because they do their big montages and you see all the training but when you watch that fight, Apollo Creed and Carl Weathers are significantly better boxers.
Oh, Rocky's
Rocky.
outclassed, and Sylvester. Yeah, like Sylvester Stallone and Rocky are equally outclassed. Like, I mean,
Like-
he's just not as good of an actor. He's not as good of an actor as Burgess Meredith. He's
No.
not as good of an actor as Burt Ward
No.
or Burt Young. I mean, I did it again.
Yeah.
The jury's out. There's not a big difference between like what the fuck's her name?
Talia Tire or what? Yeah.
Talia Shear.
Talia Shear. I was like, shit.
There's not a big difference between Adrian and the Corleone sister on The Godfather. Like,
Right.
just
right.
a broken woman, like just head
Mhm.
down. Like, so jury's still out on whether or not she's a good actress. She didn't really do much outside of Rocky or Godfather.
And she's not getting to, she doesn't get a chance to really show off anything. It's a very,
she helped Jason Schwartzman get famous through nepotism. I think that's how that worked.
Yeah, because
she's like his aunt or his mom or something. Like,
I think she's his mom. I'm pretty
maybe
because they're all like Coppolas, right? Like, yeah.
Oh, is she a Coppola?
Yeah, I think she's Francis' sister. So,
oh, see, that explains everything.
Because like Nicolas Cage is a Coppola, Jason
I knew
Schwartzman's
that.
a Coppola. There's a few other ones where he's like, "What?" I'm like, oh.
I wish I was a Coppola.
Don't we all? We'd have wine.
I'd be a
and
stupid Matthews. Sorry, Dad, but
but you watch that fight and like it's weird because like you can see that the only reason why Rocky is successful is that he won't die.
he's too stupid to stay down.
He's
You can call it pride all you want. You're an idiot.
He's too stupid to stay, and it's like you watch this match, and I would say like, even though he knocked out, like I know everyone's like the first match is like it's too close to call. It's like no, it's not.
Mm-mm.
All right.
How is that possibly a split decision?
It should not be.
He got punched 412 times to 6.
Yeah.
In the first round of the first fight, like he got punched.
Yeah.
He never blocked one punch until Rocky 3.
He never blocks, and it's like he's losing this fight simply off of mat. This is a brutal version of like a Mayweather fight where it's like no, he's connecting more, and that's why he won. But they kind of bullshitted it because it's like no, I know Rocky got him down once and it was like a good, but Rocky's not connecting nearly as much as Apollo Creed. And then you watch this fight and
Ray Rice's wife connected more punches in retaliation.
Block better too. She was fighting for her life. I don't feel like Rocky's fighting for his life.
Yeah. He's just walking forward with his head down.
And they're making a big deal. It's like, holy shit, he's fighting with the right hand. It's like, is he?
Yeah,
or is he just?
Also, why was that Mickey's like way to beat him? He's like, you gotta teach everything you ever knew about boxing and make it different now. You're gonna fight right-handed. Isn't it just easier to teach him how to block a punch? Or it's because he had to stand the other way because of his eye. That's what it was.
It's like both, but it's also like he's not going to. Theoretically, if this fight was actually done by someone who didn't just put his chin out the entire fight, that's an interesting thing where like you got someone who's training on you for a certain style. He's like, I can't deal with left-handed people, but I've dealt with this guy for 16 rounds. I know where he's at. I already had him.
Yeah, watching the film
even with me at the disadvantage of not being able to handle left-handed boxers, but I had him already. And then you're like, if you tell him like Rocky to go, now you're going to be with the right, you're going to lead with the right, it's going to catch him off guard at least enough
for a minute.
But Rocky never even does that. He just says, punch my face for 45 minutes. Just
now again, we're doing it again where we like this movie more and we're 40 minutes in and we're just talking shit.
But it's like it's funny because
but we gotta point out this stuff because that's like Rocky's famous for it. How are we not going to talk about how much he gets punched?
And it's so fascinating because like as a athlete, like these are the few sports movies where you're kind of watching a person and they're never improving as an athlete. Like
no, he just gets in better shape physically from working out.
He's getting slimmer. He's getting more money, so he's eating better. He's doing, but his stance, his style, he does not learn from his fights. He's just like, I can take a bunch of punches, and it's going to be
bunch
okay.
of punches.
Also, I will never be able to read again, like I will never be able to he will never
Like,
be
he went
able
in
to-
with a bad eye. What the fuck was that second fight going to do to his fucking eyesight?
Oh my, like you're going to be, he's just going to be looking at his kid and he's like, why is only half of him? Like, it's like, Rock,
what
that's
does
not
it
even how
look
that-
like?
It's like,
I can see his bones through his body. That's how bad my eye is.
Rock, what's going on with you? Like, you should still be able to see all of your son with the left eye. I can't.
Man, and then there's this crazy subplot in this whole movie about the Adrian in the hospital subplot. Like, she's in a coma for most of the movie.
So this is where the movie gets into the overkill, or this is where you can see the Stallone elements of it, because for a lot of the movie it's pretty grounded, it's pretty like sad, it's pretty like, wow, this is like intense, it's kind of like fucked up, where he's just like, I have nothing, I'm nothing, and she has to go back to work and she's doing some very heavy manual labor, and which is, by the way,
she's
also,
lifting garbage cans filled with dog food.
which, by the way, Rocky, again, fuck you very much, because you're like, I just thought I shouldn't be doing manual labor anymore. It's like, Rocky, you left school in 9th grade. You were 30.
But he was a dumb 9th grader probably too, because
dumb 9th grader. You're 31. You're about to have a child. You have one eye. You can't read.
Do some manual labor.
You pick the fuck out of. You're in the prime time to make good money doing manual labor.
Grab a shovel, man.
Yeah, and you're like,
they didn't roof houses in the 70s. Get the fuck out of here! Like
where do you get off thinking that you're gonna be a manager or working?
Yeah, I want to sit where you're sitting. I want to sit behind a desk. I don't know how to type or write or read or nothing, but I could use a phone maybe a little.
I can't remember if he is, but I don't even think he's wearing a tie in these interviews. Like, he's just dressed like he's picking up.
I picture him in boxer shorts all the time. Like, he's just wearing his. So remember me? I'm Rocky. I was on the news that year.
He's wearing his like tiger leather jacket to a job interview, and he's like, I just thought I could be your boss. Like,
yeah, you want me to show you how I can walk and catch a handball?
Huh?
I can bounce a handball and walk up the street real good.
You see these fingerless gloves? They don't give these to nobody.
Already watch this now. Do 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 do.
Huh? You got a little girl who's gonna be called a whore. I could tell her not to be a whore.
Yeah, hey, Creepo. Remember me? I'm Creepo. You got a job for me? I'm 16 now, Rock. Hey, what do you got? You got a paper route I need to walk around on.
I could do, but I will not do manual labor no more.
No, not me.
I'm too good for working. Like, you have your poor pregnant wife picking up like 15
go there and
pounds.
help her if you're just sitting around.
Yeah, she's picking up. Why don't you work at the fucking pet store?
Yeah.
Like, she's picking up 15, or do they all feel like he's going to start punching the 15-pound bags?
Maybe.
Like,
she was just able to start making eye contact with people 6 months ago, and you're fucking... She goes into a coma and she comes out on a different side of the spectrum. Like, that's crazy.
Yeah, where she's like, and her not wanting him to fight for good reason. Yeah. He's like, I don't know how to train, even though I'm going to like, you're like, Rocky, shut the fuck up.
Yeah.
But at the same time, as much as I'm shitting on that, and much as I'm being like an asshole about it, God damn it, if I didn't start tearing up when she starts like holding his hand when she's waking up.
Oh, when she's in the coma? Oh my God, yeah.
I was like, ooh, you motherfucker. You got me.
Yeah, they got me. You fucking got me. Also, who doesn't want to see their kid until their wife wakes up?
Right? Like, Paulie,
that was a weird move. Like,
Paulie,
it's like, okay. Go ahead.
No, but it's like Paulie has seen the kid. Paulie has all of his shit together. He's like,
yeah,
I'm not going to see my nephew. Get the fuck, like,
this movie was as good as it got for Uncle Paulie. Like, it's all downhill from this movie.
It's just so funny. Like,
he's like, I'm gonna go see your kid, I guess, and name it.
Yeah, like we're gonna name you. And she wakes up and they finally get to see their kid. He hasn't seen his kid. I don't know how long she's been in this coma, but
I don't know.
it's been
That kid came out with an afro, so it's hard to. That kid had so much hair.
I mean, it happens. Like a
Yeah, it
Italian kid, like a full, like
Oh yeah, full
hairy
Italian.
Yeah. Like it's so funny how like he's just kind of aloof about so much, but it was still like I still felt it because you're like, God damn, yeah. Like I'm really into it because then when she's like, there's just one thing I need you to do, Rocky. And he's like, what, anything? I stopped the match. I'll quit the fight. I won't do it. She's like, win. And I was like,
There-
Tyr, here it is.
She's
It's like,
behind him, and
yeah.
as soon as she was behind him, the wind started blowing underneath him. He's like, ah, and it was it. She said, bum, 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 bum.
And he's like, oh shit, I can work out again. It's like,
I can lift out Mickey. Like he never calls his son by his name. It's always the kid because he doesn't love anything but Mickey and Adrian.
Yeah, and it's so true, and it's like when you watch the later movie, it's like, oh, no wonder you have a bad relationship with your son.
Yeah, you just called him the kid for fucking 8 movies in a row.
Yeah, the kid. But it's so as silly as we are like making it out to be. It is the prime example of why a well done, like formulaic movie is so good because
Yeah.
it is so by the books in many ways, and part of me, like when you see the ending of the movie, I always remembered him like knocking out Apollo Creed clean. Like it was just that's how I remember it in my mind because he does that in every other movie. He knocks them out.
Yeah, he just knocks them out.
But it's so good that he really gets this. It's this moment. It's like they're just exhausted, and he's like, "This guy's the better man." But like, he's like the only reason why like Creed didn't get up is because he's been exerting the most energy by beating the shit out of Rocky. Like
Rocky's just a little bit brain dead.
Yeah, Rocky gets knocked down several times in this fight.
Twice around for the whole fight, I think.
Yeah, he's just like, oh, I'm getting back up. And it's like, Apollo Creed is like, I'm fucking dancing. I'm moving. I'm running. I'm getting knocked out in the ribs. My breathing is like, you got so lucky because when you punched me, your whole body went with it.
Yeah.
And we both fell. Like you knocked us.
And that's how he won. He won because he just fell into the punch.
It's like, oh, so I just got tackled to the ground with the punch. And it makes sense. But it makes sense and it's like, yeah, Apollo Creed is a better fighter. And like this is like a spoiler for one of the later movies, like the Creed movies when we get into that. But they talk about the third fight they have. And it was like, yeah, Apollo won. It was like, of course Apollo won. He's a better fighter.
Yeah,
like,
there's no reason why he wouldn't win.
Like if he didn't have to fight a giant Russian monster, he'd still be alive. He'd still get to be a shitty dad.
It took a monster. It took somebody who's even whiter than Rocky.
Yeah. Like he's like, listen, we call Italian people white. This guy's white.
This guy's white.
Yeah. He's bred for it. Like, but the movie is, I think it's much better for a lot of because it's technically better. Like it's better paced.
Yeah. I think the script is better. The screenplay is better.
Yes.
The pacing is better. Even like Sylvester Stallone, I think he did a great job directing. Like he didn't get nominated for as much shit.
Mm-hmm. Like,
but he did good. Like I think he did a good job pacing the movie. He did a good job like keeping everything moving.
It works. I think it makes people more interesting. There's a lot more depth to everyone in the movie. I think it's still Adrian has like gets the short end of the stick for most of these movies because it's just she's like a prize and just
She's
a-
Rocky's wife. She never like you don't even know Adrian's last name.
right. Yeah, like
Like you don't know Paulie's last name either. Like
that's the funny thing is like you don't know their last name because they're just extensions of Rocky. Like they're the
yeah.
Balboa.
I mean, it's probably Balboa.
Yeah, it is like Paulie had to take on their name too. He's
Yeah.
like, what? But we're like, we're our last name's DeChinzi. No, you're Balboa
Nope.
now.
You're now Balboa. I married into your family. You're me now.
we share the same blood. I need a kidney. What?
You gotta donate me your eye because I got punched out of my head that time that day.
What are you gonna do, Paulie? You gonna use your eye? Give me your eye.
Yeah, I gave you this job in my car.
Also, I don't know if Paulie did and would explain how he became so rich, but like when the mob boss first came to Rocky and he was like, "Would you like to invest in condos? It's gonna be a big business," and it's like. Kind of is like if they're like,
Yeah, maybe
like,
Paulie got big in the condo market.
it's like if they're building condos, like they have construction, like you put your money into that. Don't. This is, and I know it can be seen as a joke, but as we watched during this movie, and you see in later movies, I don't think it is. When they ask how Rocky is going to use the money he wins, like he gets for the fight, his answer, he's like, I gotta pay rent. And it's like, okay, I gotta get motorcycles, I gotta get necklaces, bracelets and chains, what is some kind of rocket ship? Like it's like, holy shit, Rocky, no. Like,
Yeah.
please.
His brain is bread pudding. Like it's just
like, please don't do this, Rocky. Adrian
like he
needs
needed a
bunch
Britney Spears like conservatorship, but there was nobody to run it.
for real, because he's like, Adrian needs coats. She's gonna need some nice fancy coats.
Yeah, he needs coats. I bought this tiger. The zoo's mine now. I bought that for Fort Lodge, and I borrowed some from Vinny the Geach, and he's
That's what we're gonna do. It makes sense. I'm retiring after this fight too. I'm a
when you're
champion.
retired, you don't have to work no more, and you just get money.
They make you because now that I've read books, I'm gonna be in commercials again. It's like Rocky, please, fucking don't waste your money. And
Just
then
fight
later-
again.
He's like, I'm always gonna. It's Rocky is such a sad fucking thing of like.
Oh yeah. Imagine
Rocky
where
is-
your best shot is almost dying again.
Yeah, this is something that I would love, and I know it would be pretty easy now because we have so much footage and doing all this stuff. I would love for them to make like 30 for 30s about these types of characters. Like we have so
Like,
many sports movies, like where
Yeah.
you be watch because they're like they span, especially because they always get sequels a lot of times, and it's like they span.
Mm.
You're like it'd be fat because Rocky is a real interesting story of a guy who's like he was nothing. He got lucky twice. Then he became like mega rich, and he wasted it all on shit because he was bad with money. Like Rocky just sitting there like. I bought a restaurant and I didn't know what to do with a restaurant. I don't know. He's
Yeah, I just
like,
bought it and no, I didn't know.
no one taught me how to not do that with my money. Like I'm just dumb.
Yeah, these movies are we're gonna be in some dark places with this.
It really because we joked about it in the first episode, but like seeing how he spent money in this, and then you think about how he went and he's like, now I gotta buy Paulie a robot and like rock.
Yeah, he's got like a Lambo and shit like that by the fourth movie. Like he's
Yeah.
like riding high.
Riding high, living gross. Like
And he's still in Philly somehow, but he's got like this like Beverly Hills estate.
and then and then real quick, right after saving America from Russia, he has to go back to Philly. 'Cause he's
Well,
poor,
it's hard when your son ages 5 years overnight.
right? Yeah. It's like, what are they feeding you? Why are you growing so fast?
What are you eating, kid?
What's happening? I'm
My
scared.
name's Michael, kid.
Kid, I haven't looked at you before. I can't see. It's like, or that's just.
What's his name? Richie Balboa. What's Rocky's real name?
I think it's Arthur or something.
Was it Arthur? Arthur
Yeah.
Fonzaraki?
Arthur Foster. Oh God,
Robert Rocky Balboa. That's who it was.
Robert Bob Balboa.
Bobby Balboa. What's up? They call me Bobby B.
I'm Bobby B.
Hey, Uncle Bobby B. So-
Uncle Baby Bobby.
That's my, what is that, Transformers? It's Bernie Mac in the Transformers movie. Hey, take it from Uncle Bobby B. I'll get you this car.
I love that your Bernie Mac is Creole.
Well, yeah, because I go Creole because I'm not allowed to do a Bernie Mac impression, but I can do like a Creole impression.
Son of a bitch.
Son of a bitch. No, I'm saying
I want to
that's how I do it all.
fucking Nolans Bernie Mac.
I do Nolans for all of my black impressions. I just do a New Orleans accent, and it's just up to the listener to figure out what I'm doing. Like after we do Rocky 3, I'm gonna be like, oh no, I don't pity no fool. I don't hate that Rocky Balboa. I pity that fool.
You go beat him and take his head off like a
I'm
Creole.
gonna suck out the neck just like a crawdaddy. That's how I do it. I'm gonna say.
Cajun clubber leg is the
Cajun everything.
oh you ja turkey.
I'm gonna break you while I get on tea. It's my Ivan Drago impression.
Ivan Drago.
That old boy gonna die. He just gonna die now. That's all I say.
If he lives, he lives.
Oh, if we live and die, die. That's what my grandpappy always said. He up to my knee one time. Everyone's Cajun.
And Rocky's
That's
just
the
like,
only-
hey, I don't know.
I don't understand. What happened? Why is everyone talking like that?
Why did you... then Rocky absorbs
That's
it.
how he hears everybody. His brain is so screwed.
That's why
He
he's
just
he's so fascinated by Adrian. He's like, you don't talk.
but he just sees her. He just sees her stirring a big old pot of gumbo all the time. She's just like,
It smells good. Can I have some of that? She's like,
"Let's rock. I'm cutting my toenails."
it smells good. You can put some andouille sausage in there.
I love that. No way Rocky Balboa can say the word andouille.
Andouille.
Is this Adrian sausage? It's all the only letters I can see, the A and the N and the D.
Just Rocky doesn't know how to say. Oh my god.
Oh, fuck my soul to pieces.
That was fun.
I don't know.
Any other thoughts about the movie?
Do we have any thoughts about this movie?
I think it's shot pretty well. It's done. It's directed.
Yeah.
Well,
No, I loved it. I honest to God, we talk shit almost the entire time, but this movie's great.
it's fun. It's such a fun.
Yeah.
One thing I will say this, and I didn't get to say this before. The makeup effects are fucking fantastic.
Dude,
Like-
for 1979,
They're like they look great. Like there's something like you watch some of those movies from that time period where, like, especially when you can watch them in like 4K and you're really seeing the detail.
yeah.
It looks so good, and it's so like and they're like covered in sweat, and like it's just like looks like true natural bruising. And when you watch some other movies from that time period, you're like, I can see the whole cracks in the makeup and all this other shit. Like,
Yeah, like it's not great in Raging Bull. you want to talk about like boxing movies from that time, like the special effects are definitely better in Rocky than Raging Bull.
Yeah, and I think that's like a thing that they've always done well. And this is also the one where they started doing real hits in certain parts. Like they got to do the close-ups. They were like, I want you to that's another thing that like Stallone brought to these movies is that he wanted to see contact in some of the where it's like you seeing a person actually get hit really sells it. And granted, it didn't help Stallone's face over time because he did so many of these movies and he's really getting punched in some of them. So it's like
it's gotta hurt a little bit. Like, you know what I mean? Some of those have to fucking just ring your brain a little bit. Like that's not okay.
Sure. Like when the Creed movies started coming out and they had like those behind the scenes clips of like Michael B. Jordan getting punched.
He's just like, holy shit.
And it's like, Jesus Christ, he's like getting socked, and then he's just hitting the ground, and you're like, oh, dude, like,
yeah, there's that one like the first time he gets hit where they clap for him. They're like, oh, you popped your cherry, kid.
Yeah, and it's like, fuck, man, that's intense. And like Stallone was just taking these punches like throughout the rest of the years, and like, even though you're seeing some of it doesn't look as clean because. If there's a problem with some of these movies is that the presentation doesn't do it enough justice for its fights because you're like this kind of movie you have to shoot it up close. And I think that's why go ahead.
No, like because boxing's kind of not I don't want to use the word boring because boring's not the word I'm looking for, but like a lot of boxing is just feeling each other out. Like, you know, if you watch like a lot of boxing matches, like it's, you know, there's a reason why they can go 15 rounds a lot of the times because like you're just fucking not throwing. I've never seen a real life boxing match that was anything like a Rocky movie.
No, and they
don't go the full round anyways. It might be a guy gets punched a lot of times, but then he just falls down and stops moving.
That's why it's called like the sweet science. It's this thing of like you're watching. If you're a big boxing fan, you're watching. It's like jazz. It's like it's about the punches you don't hit or whatever. Like that kind of shit. But you're watching something that could be incredibly boring. But I think it would also be interesting to see them use more technique in these fights because they don't even in the later movies where we have a history of learning how to do like shooting, boxing, and all this stuff. It's like. Use some techniques like this because these movies take place in a time period when we don't have killers, like not the same way like in boxing. Yeah, like you had like Ali, you had Foreman was like one of the first killers in boxing, but it was still like this is before you get to your like Tysons and shit like that where you're like watching like breaking down you're still watching
like Tyson hit so hard that like Muhammad Ali even said he was like he wouldn't have wanted to box with Tyson because of how hard he hit. Like he hit because he learned to box from watching Rocky movies. Like he tried to knock your head off with every punch. Like that's how he thought boxing was.
And that's so fucking fascinating about how this changed boxing. This changes boxing a little bit because it has to be more theatric and it's far more because it's like it's the same as like watching old basketball. Like when you watch some of this old boxing and old basketball, kind of
the old Whites days of basketball,
just where it's like the biggest thing someone could do was like the sky hook was like the biggest thing in basketball. Like everyone was like, "Can you believe that 7 foot tall man could just?"
Kareem did again.
Like that was it, and then. Like you have people who can actually like dribble and do shit and you're like, what the fuck is happening? Like, and this is like that. It's so funny to think about that. I didn't even know that about Tyson. It's just this.
Oh, I don't know if that's really true. I just assume.
I would imagine.
That wasn't a factual statement I made. I'm just assuming that. Yeah, sorry. No, I misrepresented myself.
If Tyson got mad, he's like, I would never learn anything from a white man.
Yeah, what are these two saying?
Only Cus D'Amato could talk to me. Anybody else? No one.
If anything, Tyson was more like Clubber Lang.
Oh, Tyson's a big Clubberlang. Like he is.
Yeah.
Like,
He's real life Clubber Lang. I can't wait to do Rocky 3, man.
dude, I'm so excited to watch Rocky because Rocky 3 is like the true.
Whew, it's the
point.
corner, yeah. We got
It's-
montages, several songs, several montages.
Mhm.
We've got fucking, yeah, we got
have
Thunder
glitz, we
Lips.
Glamour. We have, it's Rocky 3, and it's so funny that it is also the movie that starts off with having a pro wrestler in it, is the movie that starts the pro wrestling era of Rocky movies.
Yes.
Where you're like, we need villains. This needs
It
to
also
be a
helped
good-
boost pro wrestling.
Yeah. It's like it's the thing that like
Rocky
fans-
3 was what, 81?
I think so, yeah.
Yeah, that's before Hulkamania.
Yeah, it's before all, and it's like, and it's absorbing that kind of thing, and I really can't wait to get into that
Can't wait.
discussion for 3 because it bleeds into like shit we do now with MMA and stuff of like the best parts of these sports are wrestling now, and then part of it is
Yeah.
because like Rocky adopted that thing of like, I want to see you get beat up. Like before, everyone was just kind of like not like, yeah,
Yeah.
they're two athletes, but now you have characters. And
And Apollo Creed could cut a promo.
Apollo Creed could cut because like
Could you imagine if Rocky cut a promo? Oh, yeah, I don't know. I kind of like Apollo. He's a nice guy. He never did nothing to me outside of the ring. You know, I don't know. Looking forward to it. Yeah, Mickey, we got this. Gonna go.
we're gonna do well.
Me and Gene standing there like this fucking dumbass. Like,
All right, so you do you want to win? It would just be kind of cool.
Oh,
you know?
I wouldn't think that I was gonna win this fight. I just want to go out there and do my best, and
Oh,
not too
thank
much.
Thank you, Rock.
Now we have the great Muta.
But yeah, this is this is a classic. This is great.
I thought that was me, Gene, getting canceled. I forgot about Gorilla Monsoon for a second, and then everyone just goes quiet. Gene, what are you doing?
I'm so sorry, JYD.
Oh my god. Meanwhile, in the background, there's some guy on the phone. Yeah, is Donnie there? This is his cousin, Eddie Trump. You know that new thing you've been learning to say? Listen to this. All right. You guys, we're watching Rocky 3 next. We can't wait. Thank you so much for checking us out. We're going to be hitting everything back up soon, so you guys check out our Instagram. Nobody watches. Check out, I don't know, check out fucking Rocky movies. Watch Rocky movies with us.
Watch 'em. Just enjoy them, love them.
Enjoy them. Check out, we got shows coming up October 13th, unless that already happened.
No,
Did it already happen?
Like, this will come out that day. So
Okay, guys,
listening
tonight. You
tonight.
stupid fucking assholes. What are you doing? What are you doing right now? You've seen me posting about this on Facebook. Just, if you're not from New York, just take a road trip to, honestly, the Lord's Mecca of New York State, Rochester. No, I got a show. Clayton's going to be there too. We're going to be out at the Carlson Comedy Club. We're going to be doing the Rickles Room. You guys, I'll be headlining. Clayton's going to be opening up. We're going to have fun. Come check us out. October 13th, Friday the 13th, you guys.
Friday the 13th.
Come out. We're gonna have fun, you guys. Let's get liquored up. Let's do some dumb shit together. We'll go to that weird fucking strip club they got out there afterwards. Like we'll just go nuts, you guys. We'll eat pixie sticks.
Yeah.
Yeah.
We're going to kill a guy.
We'll crush up Smarties and snort them. It's gonna be fun.
But seriously, guys, thank you so much. Thank you for listening for the pod. We're so happy to be back. We love you. And
We do love you. We do.
And remember, go back to Bumfrica.
Yeah, and take them to the zoo. Bumfrica.